Welcome back to Driftwood Stories, where the night stirs softly and ancient winds carry us into legends older than memory. Tonight, we travel to a world shaped by gods and stars, where marble temples glowed under the moon and olive trees whispered the names of heroes. This is the tale of Athena, born not from earth or ocean, but from pure thought and brilliant light. A goddess of war, yes, but not of fire or fury. She is the calm in the storm, the wisdom in the sword's pause, the shield raised not to strike, but to protect. So close your eyes. Let the golden light of Olympus warm your thoughts. For our story begins now, in the time before time. Chapter 1. In the beginning there was thought. Long before the mountains had names, before the stars were counted or the lyres were strung with golden string, the world existed in a state of trembling beauty. It was a world not yet shaped, still soft at the edges, like clay beneath the potter's hand. At the summit of all things stood mighty Zeus, king of the gods, his throne carved from cloud and thunder, his thoughts vast and swirling like storms across the sea. Yet even amidst his power, with lightning at his fingertips and the world below answering to his will, he felt something missing. A quiet space in his mind, a silence where there should have been song. In this silence, a seed of thought stirred, not born from passion or battle, but from longing for something pure, a being not of chaos, but of clarity, not a mirror of Zeus's might, but a flame to balance it, a wisdom that would illuminate, not dominate. And so, in the stillness of Olympus, Zeus closed his eyes. From the depths of his divine mind he summoned a thought so complete, so perfectly formed, that it became something more. It spun and shimmered, taking on colour and light, breath and form. The gods watched, awed and silent, for never before had a child been born not of union, but of vision. And within Zeus the thought grew, brilliant and bright, pressing outward with the force of destiny. Lightning crackled through the sky, the earth trembled, and all of Olympus turned its gaze to the heavens as the birth of a new goddess drew near. Chapter 2. Born from the mind of thunder. The sky darkened, not with storm, but with brilliance, as if the stars themselves leaned closer to witness what had never happened before. Zeus, mighty and eternal, grasped his head in both hands. Not in pain, no, not pain, but in a pressure deeper and more divine, a radiance building behind his brow, like sunlight caught in a mountain. It pulsed and pressed, humming with life, with purpose. Then came a sound, not a scream, not a roar, but a single crack of lightning that split the heavens like silk, and from the mind of Zeus she emerged. Athena, clothed in bronze and gold, yet untouched by forge or fire. A crown of laurel bound her brow. Her eyes, deep grey like the storm before rainfall, opened wide, calm and knowing. In one hand she held a shield, polished like still water. In the other, a spear that gleamed like moonlight on stone. But there was no wrath in her, no fury. only a perfect stillness, like a quiet lake at dawn, deep and endless. The gods gasped, and then they bowed, for never had Olympus seen such balance. A warrior, yes, but also a thinker, a protector, a strategist, a soul forged not for conquest, but for guidance. Zeus looked upon his daughter and smiled, not the smile of a king or ruler, but of a father who knew he had brought something wondrous into the world. With a voice like wind through olive branches, Athena spoke her first words. "I am not born to destroy, but to understand, to guard what must be kept safe, to bring light where others bring shadow." And as her feet touched the earth for the first time, from the dust sprang an olive tree, its silver-green leaves shimmering with peace and promise. The world would never be the same, and neither would Olympus. Chapter 3. The Maiden in Bronze and Gold. Though born full-grown and radiant, Athena did not stride across Olympus like a conqueror. She walked quietly, where Ares thundered with iron boots and Artemis darted like the wild huntress. Athena moved like dawn through marble columns, soft, inevitable, and clear. She wore no crown of pride, though gods bowed in her presence. Her helm, crested with white horsehair, was not to dazzle, but to remind wisdom is never unguarded. Her armour gleamed, not with the polish of vanity, but with the patience of one who knows that strength must sit quietly beside thought. The other gods watched her with wonder. Hermes, the fleet-footed messenger, once whispered to Apollo, "She has the mind of 1,000 scrolls and the silence of a temple." Apollo, god of music and reason, merely nodded. "She is logic made gentle." Though young, Athena was not untested. In the gardens of Olympus she bested Hephaestus in riddles. In the chambers of judgment she calmed even Hera's storming heart with careful counsel. And when Ares, god of blood and war, challenged her to spar, she did not raise her spear. She only asked him one question. "Is your strength greater than your fear of stillness?" Ares did not answer. He only growled and left. Athena stood beneath the olive tree that bore her name and watched the mortal world with curious eyes, not with scorn nor with amusement, but with compassion. She saw their struggles, the weavers, the farmers, the thinkers building quiet wisdom into their homes of clay and stone. She whispered blessings upon them, not of gold or glory, but of clarity, insight, and calm hands in moments of doubt. And when she crafted her own temple, high on the cliffs above the sea, it was not to be worshipped, but to be entered quietly by those who sought knowledge more than praise. Thus Athena became more than a goddess of war. She became the shield of cities, the companion of clever minds, the light behind the eyes of heroes yet to be born. Chapter 4. The Challenge of Poseidon. Far below Olympus, where the cliffs met the sea, a small city bloomed like a shell half buried in sand. Its people were clever, eager, builders of boats and homes, weavers of cloth, dreamers of peace. But they had no name, no patron to guide their destiny. The gods watched this growing city with interest. and 2 among them stepped forward. Poseidon, god of the sea, great-bearded and broad-shouldered, his trident rising like storm towers behind him, and Athena, calm and shining, her bronze robes rippling like sunlight on still waters. They met on a high hill overlooking the land. "I will be the guardian of this city," Poseidon boomed, his voice like crashing waves. "They shall sail beneath my blessing and carve their fortunes from the deep." But Athena stood, hands folded before her. "Let us not battle," she said gently. "Let us offer. Let the people choose whose gift will guide them." Poseidon frowned, unused to peace as contest. Still he agreed. With a great stomp of his trident, he struck the stone. The earth trembled, cracked, and from it burst a mighty spring of salt water, fierce and wild. Horses leapt from the foam, waves danced at the hill's edge. The people gasped. Then came Athena. She knelt, placed one hand on the soil, and whispered not a spell, but a promise. From beneath her fingers, roots coiled and reached upward, and a small tree unfurled. An olive tree. Its trunk was slender, silver green. Its leaves shimmered in the light, and from its branches came fruit. Humble, yes, but rich with oil for fire, food, and medicine. It promised shade in summer, calm in storms, and peace in a world too often ruled by thunder. The people chose. They knelt before the tree and called out her name. "Athena, wisdom shall guide us." Poseidon turned away with a rumble, but Athena did not gloat. She bowed her head to the sea and whispered a blessing upon his waves. The city was named Athens, and beneath the olive boughs mortals would gather for centuries to come, to learn, to govern, to speak with reason, not with swords but with thought. Chapter 5. The Olive and the Sea. The olive tree stood at the heart of the new city, not towering but timeless. Its roots reached deep into the soil, whispering secrets of patience and quiet strength. Its branches curved gently toward the sky, as if in perpetual thought. Under its shade, the people of Athens began to change. They learned to press oil not only for lamps, but for healing. They crushed its fruit with care, preserving the golden liquid like sacred light in clay jars. They wove wreaths from its leaves, not for warriors, but for poets, scholars, and those who guided with steady minds. And high above it all, in her temple of calm stone, Athena watched. She did not demand worship. She asked for understanding. Fishermen, when they argued, came to the olive grove to speak gently. Mothers told their children stories of how wisdom could stop a war. Young girls and boys knelt beneath the tree, hoping for insight, for clarity, for dreams not of conquest but of purpose. Yet the sea was never far. Poseidon's waves still crashed upon the rocks. The people still sailed, still prayed for calm passage and swift winds. They had not rejected him, only chosen balance. And sometimes, when storms gathered and lightning forked across the sky, Athena would walk to the cliff's edge and look out across the grey horizon. She would raise her hand, not to command but to greet, and the waves would still, just for a breath. Thus the olive and the sea learned to live side by side, a city born of wisdom, shaped by strength, and cradled in the arms of both gods. And the tree remained, through seasons of blossom and fall, of war and golden age. Its leaves shivered in the breeze like whispers from the past, a promise that wisdom once planted can grow forever. Chapter 6. The First Hero's Whisper. In a quiet village beyond the hills of Athens, where sheep wandered through sunlit fields and the sky seemed impossibly wide, there lived a boy named Alon. He was not strong, not yet. He did not wield a sword nor boast of great deeds, but in his heart was a question, always turning, always glowing like a coal. What makes a hero? Truly, while others trained with spears and sang of muscle and might, Alon sat beneath trees and listened to the wind, to the stories the elders told, to the stillness between thoughts. And on one such evening, when the moon rose full and pale, he wandered up the path to a high grove, where a single olive tree stood older than any stone. There he sat and whispered aloud, "I wish to be brave, but not cruel. I wish to be strong, but not feared." The leaves above him stirred, and though no footfall echoed, he felt a presence beside him, tall, cloaked in bronze light, with grey eyes that saw not just the world, but the space between choices. It was Athena. She did not startle him. She did not shine with divine fire. She simply knelt and placed a hand over his heart. "And a true warrior," she said softly, "fights not because he hates what is before him, but because he loves what stands behind him." She gave him no sword, no armour, only a word, "Observe." From that day on, Alon watched. He learned to read the way a river curved before a flood, to listen for the tremble in a lyre's voice, to feel the stillness that comes just before a bird takes flight. When war came, as it always does, Alon did not rush. He guided his village not with fear, but with wisdom. He predicted attacks, shielded the weak, taught others how to choose clarity over chaos. They called him the Silent Shield, and when he grew old and passed into story, some swore they saw a tall figure in a bronze robe, placing an olive branch at his grave. Athena had whispered not to a soldier, but to a thinker, and the world was safer because of it. Chapter 7. The Stillness of the Owl. When the sun sleeps and even the gods grow quiet, there remains one creature that stirs beneath the stars. The owl, not the loudest bird nor the grandest, but the one whose eyes pierce the dark, whose wings make no sound, whose gaze holds the world still. And it is this creature that Athena chose as her companion. Not the lion of conquest, nor the eagle of kingship, the owl, silent, steady, and wise. It flew beside her in dreams and in truth, resting on her shoulder when she wandered the mortal world, or circling high above her temple as the last torch was snuffed and the city slept. Its eyes were her eyes. It saw what others missed, the secret wound behind a warrior's pride, the doubt beneath a boast, the moment when anger might still be softened into thought. And wherever the owl was seen, peace followed. Sailors paused before shouting, children hushed their quarrels. Even thieves, glancing up from shadowed doorways, turned and walked away. In time, the owl became more than a bird. It became a symbol of clarity, of vision, of Athena herself. Its shape was carved into coins and shields, stitched into robes, painted on the walls of learning halls. And always it faced forward, never in fear, never in judgment, only in quiet observation. The people understood that true strength need not roar, that wisdom listens more than it speaks. And Athena, though rarely seen, was always felt. In the flicker of a lamp over parchment, in the moment before a general gives a command, in the hush of night, when a single feather drifts down from above and one remembers. The goddess watches not from thrones, but from the still corners of the soul. Chapter 8. Beneath the silver moon of Athens. Night falls over Athens, and the city breathes in silence. The olive trees sway gently in the breeze, their leaves whispering ancient lullabies. The marble columns catch the glow of the moon, turning pale gold beneath the stars. Lamps flicker in quiet homes. The hum of the world slows, softens, sighs, and high above it all, in the still sanctuary of her temple, Athena stands. She watches not with judgment, but with care. Children sleep curled beside olive-wood toys. Scholars rest beside half-written scrolls. The old, the young, the brave, and the timid, all wrapped in dreams stitched from the cloth of her wisdom. In the distance, the sea sings to the shore, and the air carries the scent of fig and thyme, a quiet world held gently in balance. Athena steps into the moonlight. Her shield rests at her side, her helm unfastened, her owl perched silently upon her arm. She does not speak, for there is no need. Her presence is enough. Some say the moon shines brighter when she walks. Others believe her footsteps stir the air, bringing insight into sleeping minds, but most simply feel her there. A warmth behind the eyes, a calm between heartbeats, a knowing that even in chaos, clarity can rise. As the night deepens, she turns once more to the olive tree, now vast, rooted in centuries, its trunk wide, its fruit full, its branches bearing the dreams of all who ever sought her guidance. And with a final glance, she vanishes into mist and shadow. But she is never gone, for in every wise choice, every quiet strength, every hand that shields rather than strikes, Athena lives on. So sleep now, beneath her gaze, beneath the silver moon, beneath the dreaming olive leaves of Athens. You are safe, you are held, you are home.